Listen, gentlemen, if you've ever wondered why some older men effortlessly attract and hold the attention of women, it's not magic, it's mastery. There are four powerful things that make women light up around you, and when you understand them, you'll never struggle with connection again. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and watch this video all the way to the end, because what you're about to learn could completely change the way women see you forever. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood qualities in men, and yet it is also the most powerful. Many people confuse it with arrogance, with bravado, or with showing off material possessions. But true confidence, the kind that women are deeply drawn to, has nothing to do with noise or display. It is a calm, steady force that radiates from within, and it becomes even more magnetic when it is carried by an older man. The years behind him have given him perspective, and that perspective creates a level of certainty and presence that younger men often lack. When a man is young, he is still learning who he is. He may chase approval, compare himself constantly with others, or try to validate his worth through achievements and status. He looks around the room and wonders how he measures up. This energy, though natural in youth, is exactly what makes him appear uncertain. Women can sense it. They may find him attractive physically, but the energy of insecurity leaves them unconvinced about his stability. An older man who has developed confidence, however, stands apart. He no longer feels the need to compete in meaningless battles. He knows who he is, what he values, and what he has to offer. That selfish assurance shows in his posture, his eye contact, and his calmness. He doesn't try to dominate the room. He simply belongs in it. True confidence is not about external validation. It does not depend on how others respond to you. A confident man does not need constant compliments, nor does he crumble when criticized. He has developed resilience through experience, and that resilience gives him a grounded energy. Women notice this quickly. When they meet a man who isn't shaken by every opinion or every challenge, they feel safer around him. They sense that he won't lose himself easily, and that stability becomes a source of attraction. Confidence also shows in decisiveness. A man who hesitates constantly, who second-guesses himself, communicates uncertainty. This makes the people around him, especially women, feel uneasy. Decisions, even small ones, become reflections of inner strength. A confident older man does not panic over little choices. He looks, decides, and moves forward. Whether it's choosing a meal, planning a trip, or making a life decision, his clarity shows that he trusts himself, and trust in oneself inspires trust in others. Women are drawn to this decisiveness because it signals leadership. They feel that with him, they can rely on direction instead of confusion. But perhaps one of the most overlooked aspects of confidence is the way a man carries his past. Younger men often try to cover up mistakes, to pretend they've never failed, as if imperfection will make them less attractive. The opposite is true. When an older man speaks openly about his past, about the lessons he's learned from failure, he demonstrates authenticity. He is not hiding his scars, he is wearing them with pride. This tells a woman that he has been tested and has grown stronger from the experience. That kind of honesty creates a powerful connection because it shows both courage and resilience. Women don't expect perfection, they expect growth. A confident man who owns his journey communicates exactly that. Confidence is also felt in the way a man interacts with women themselves. An insecure man often either places a woman on a pedestal or treats her as if she is beneath him. Both extremes come from insecurity. The confident man, however, meets her eye to eye. He values her, respects her, and admires her beauty, but he does not lose his sense of self in the process. He does not beg for approval, nor does he need to put her down to feel strong. Instead, he engages with her as an equal, as a person worth knowing beyond the surface. This balance between interest and groundedness is intoxicating for women. They feel appreciated without feeling smothered, desired without feeling objectified. There is also a subtle difference between arrogance and confidence that women can sense instantly. Arrogance is defensive, it is loud, forceful, and usually rooted in insecurity. The arrogant man constantly tries to prove he is better than others. The confident man has nothing to prove. He is comfortable in his own skin, so he doesn't need to compete for validation. His silence speaks louder than another man's boasting. He doesn't push his worth onto others. He allows them to notice it naturally. This is why women often say, "There's just something about him." That something is confidence that doesn't need to scream. Body language is another area where confidence makes a man stand out. When a man enters a room, his posture says everything before he even opens his mouth. Does he walk with his shoulders back and his head high, or does he shuffle in, hunched and hesitant? Does he make steady eye contact, or does he dart his eyes nervously? Does he speak with a steady tone, or does his voice tremble with uncertainty? These small details are huge signals to women. A confident man doesn't need to fake it. His body naturally reflects his inner state. He takes up space without aggression, and he moves with purpose without rushing. This kind of presence is magnetic because it signals calm control. Confidence also extends into emotional states. Life is full of challenges, and people often reveal their true selves under pressure. A man who panics, lashes out, or falls apart under stress communicates instability, but a confident man remains calm even in storms. He may feel fear or stress, but he doesn't let it control him. Instead, he maintains perspective and responds with balance. Women are incredibly sensitive to this energy. Being with a man who can keep calm under pressure makes them feel safer because they know that no matter what happens, he won't crumble. That sense of safety is one of the deepest forms of attraction. Another important aspect is authenticity. Confidence means you are no longer trying to be someone you're not. Many younger men, driven by insecurity, put on masks. They pretend to like things they don't, act tougher than they are, or hide their true feelings. But with age and growth, a confident man sheds those masks. He says what he means and means what he says. He doesn't pretend, and this authenticity is refreshing to women. They can sense when a man is being real, and realness is rare enough in today's world that it immediately sets him apart. It's important to remember that confidence is not an end goal but a process. It is built over time through self-awareness, through learning from mistakes, and through facing fears. Every challenge a man overcomes adds to his reservoir of confidence. Every risk he takes, every lesson he learns, shapes him into someone stronger. Women can see this history in the way he carries himself. It's in his eyes, in his voice, in his calmness. He is not afraid of life anymore. He has lived it, and he trusts himself to keep living it well. At the core, confidence over age means a man has moved past the need for approval. He no longer chases validation because he has validated himself. He knows his value regardless of what others say. And when a woman encounters this kind of energy, it captivates her. She feels not only attracted, but also inspired. Confidence is contagious. It makes her feel more secure in herself as well. That mutual empowerment is what makes the bond with a confident man so powerful. In the end, what makes women go crazy about confidence in older men is not age itself, but the wisdom and self-assurance that often come with it. Confidence is the ability to stand tall without arrogance, to be open without fear, to act decisively without hesitation, and to be authentic without masks. It is a quiet, steady power that doesn't demand attention but naturally attracts it. When an older man embodies this, he becomes unforgettable. Emotional maturity is one of the most powerful traits that separates men who merely get attention from those who keep it. It's not about how much you earn, how well you dress, or even how physically attractive you are. Those things can draw a woman's eye for a moment, but they don't sustain her respect or her admiration. What women truly respond to on a deep, lasting level is a man's ability to regulate himself, to manage his emotions, and to navigate life with calmness and wisdom. This is why women often find themselves especially attracted to older men who have taken the time to develop emotional maturity. It is the quality that makes a woman feel secure, valued, and understood. When a man lacks emotional maturity, it shows in how he reacts to life's challenges. He might lose his temper easily, speak without thinking, or shut down emotionally when confronted with stress. These reactions create instability. A woman in such a relationship feels as though she's walking on eggshells, never knowing how he will react, never sure whether she can truly open up. This is exhausting, and it makes her feel unsafe. An emotionally mature man, on the other hand, responds instead of reacts. He has learned to pause, to breathe, and to approach problems with a clear head. His composure gives the relationship stability, and this is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can ever experience in a man. Emotional maturity also involves empathy, the ability to step into someone else's shoes and truly understand their perspective. Too many men think that listening means waiting for their turn to speak, or jumping in with solutions before the other person has even finished explaining. A woman does not always want a man to fix her problems. Often, she just wants him to hear her. An emotionally mature man knows this. He gives her space to express herself, validates her feelings without dismissing them, and acknowledges her emotions even if he sees the situation differently. This creates a sense of safety. She feels understood and valued, and when a woman feels that, she naturally opens up more. She trusts him with her inner world. That level of trust builds intimacy that surface-level attraction never could. Conflicts are inevitable in any relationship, but the way a man handles conflict reveals his maturity. The immature man turns every disagreement into a battle to win. He raises his voice, throws blame, and sometimes even uses silence as a weapon. These behaviors escalate tension and erode trust. An emotionally mature man, however, sees conflict as an opportunity for understanding. He doesn't shy away from difficult conversations, but he approaches them with patience and a solution-oriented mindset. He listens, acknowledges his partner's concerns, and communicates his own feelings respectfully. He understands that winning an argument at the cost of damaging the relationship is never truly a win. Women are deeply attracted to this approach because it demonstrates emotional control, wisdom, and partnership. Self-awareness is another critical part of emotional maturity. Many younger or less experienced men resist admitting their faults. They deflect, they blame others, or they pretend everything is fine. But a mature man has faced enough of life to know that denial only delays growth. He has learned to reflect on his own actions, to recognize his weaknesses, and to take responsibility for his mistakes. And instead of being ashamed of these imperfections, he uses them as opportunities to improve. Women admire this greatly because there is nothing more frustrating than a man who refuses to take accountability. When a man can say, "I was wrong, and I'll do better," he not only earns respect, but also shows the strength to grow. That willingness to evolve is an incredibly attractive quality. Emotional maturity does not mean suppressing emotions. Some men think being mature means never crying, never showing sadness, never expressing vulnerability. But that is not strength, that is denial. True maturity is the ability to feel emotions deeply while still managing them responsibly. A man can feel anger without becoming destructive, sadness without collapsing, and fear without being paralyzed. He can open up about what he feels without letting those feelings control him. This balance makes a woman feel closer to him because she knows she is with someone real, someone human, someone who can connect with her emotionally without falling apart. This maturity also extends beyond the relationship and shows in how a man interacts with the world around him. A woman observes how he treats people, friends, family, strangers. An immature man might be kind to her, but rude to the waiter, arrogant with colleagues, or impatient with his children. This inconsistency creates doubt in her mind. But a mature man treats people with respect across the board. He does not need to assert dominance over others to feel powerful. His kindness and composure are consistent, whether he's speaking to a CEO or to someone serving him food. This consistency reassures a woman that his behavior toward her is genuine, not an act. Patience is another sign of emotional maturity that women deeply value. Life is unpredictable. Plans fall through, careers take turns, people make mistakes. An impatient man reacts with frustration, demanding that everything and everyone move according to his pace. This makes relationships stressful. A mature man, however, has learned to trust the process of life. He is patient not because he is weak, but because he understands that time and effort are often required for good things to unfold. That patience creates a calm atmosphere in the relationship, making the woman feel like she can breathe and simply be herself without pressure. Emotional maturity is also about consistency. A man who is calm today but explosive tomorrow creates confusion and fear. Women are drawn to men who are steady, whose moods don't swing wildly, and whose presence can be relied upon. This doesn't mean a man never has bad days, but even in those moments, he knows how to communicate without lashing out, how to ask for space without disappearing, and how to express frustration without attacking. Consistency builds trust, and trust builds attraction. At its core, emotional maturity is what allows a man to build deep and lasting connections. Looks may capture attention, confidence may spark interest, but it is emotional maturity that makes a woman stay. It reassures her that she is not just with someone who can handle life's easy moments, but with someone who can also handle the storms. She knows that with him, her feelings won't be ignored, her voice won't be silenced, and her heart won't be mishandled. That assurance is priceless, and it is why women often say that maturity is sexier than youth. Ultimately, emotional maturity is a product of growth. It comes from facing hardships, learning from mistakes, and choosing to evolve instead of staying stuck. An older man who has embraced this growth embodies a kind of strength that is quiet yet powerful. He doesn't need to prove himself, he doesn't need to dominate, and he doesn't need to pretend. He is steady, reflective, compassionate, and accountable. And when a woman encounters that, it captures her in a way that no superficial quality ever could. This is why emotional maturity is not just attractive, it is essential. It is the foundation for trust, the engine of stability, and the bridge to genuine intimacy. It is what allows a man to lead without control, to love without fear, and to inspire without forcing. And when a man embodies emotional maturity, women don't just notice him. They feel deeply drawn to him because with him they find something rare: peace, safety, and true partnership. Financial and lifestyle stability is one of those qualities that is often misunderstood, sometimes even criticized, but it remains one of the deepest, most consistent factors that influence a woman's attraction to a man. When people hear the word financial, they think immediately of wealth, luxury cars, and flashy displays of success, but the truth is far more practical and subtle. Stability is not about impressing someone with how much you have. It is about showing that you are reliable, responsible, and capable of creating a life that is grounded and secure. This is something that older men often have an advantage in because they have had more time to build, to learn discipline, and to create a foundation for their lives. And when a woman sees that kind of foundation, she feels something that cannot be faked: peace of mind. Money in itself is not the secret, but the way a man handles money says everything about his character. A man who is careless with his finances, constantly in debt, or always chasing quick wins without a plan communicates instability. A woman who encounters this feels uncertain about her future with him because she knows that poor financial habits often spill into other areas of life. On the other hand, a man who has cultivated discipline with money, who lives within his means, who plans for tomorrow instead of only living for today, sends a very different signal. He communicates foresight. He communicates responsibility. He communicates that he is not just living for himself, but that he is capable of creating an environment where a partner can feel secure. That level of stability is deeply attractive because it allows a woman to imagine building a life together without constant financial chaos. Lifestyle stability is the other half of this equation. It is not only about what is in your bank account, but also about how you live day to day. Do you maintain routines that show balance and discipline? Do you keep your environment organized? Do you invest in your health, your time, and your future? A man who demonstrates lifestyle stability shows that he has direction. Women notice whether a man is constantly scattered, moving from one crisis to another, or whether he is steady, intentional, and consistent. Stability in lifestyle communicates that you can handle responsibility, that you can create order in the midst of life's unpredictability, and that you have built a life worth sharing. One of the reasons financial and lifestyle stability is so magnetic is because it ties directly into a woman's instinct for security. This is not about gold, digging, or materialism. It is about biology and psychology. For centuries, women have naturally been drawn to men who can provide and protect. In today's modern world, women may earn their own money, may have their own careers, and may not depend on a man financially. But the instinct remains. A woman may not need your money, but she will always be drawn to the man who demonstrates that he is capable of creating safety and security. That safety is not just financial, it is emotional, physical, and practical. But money and lifestyle are visible reflections of how you handle that responsibility. Stability also shows foresight. A man who invests in his future shows that he is thinking beyond the present moment. Maybe he has savings, maybe he invests wisely, maybe he simply budgets with care. Whatever the case, he shows that he is not reckless. This foresight gives women confidence that he will not drag them into unnecessary struggles or instability. She sees that he is building something lasting, and that vision is attractive because it allows her to picture herself as part of it. Women want to align with men who are moving somewhere purposeful, not men who are standing still or moving backwards. Lifestyle stability also covers the way you take care of your body and your environment. A man who lives in chaos, who neglects his health, who surrounds himself with disorder, communicates that he is not in control of himself or his surroundings. But a man who maintains balance, who exercises, who eats with some discipline, who manages his time well, sends the opposite message. He shows that he respects himself. Women are drawn to men who respect themselves because it suggests that he will also respect and take care of those around him. Another key part of this is consistency. Stability means being predictable in the best possible way. It means showing up when you say you will, following through on your promises, and managing your life in such a way that you are not constantly creating emergencies. When a man is unreliable, always late, or always scrambling, it erodes trust. But when he is consistent, when he does what he says and lives in alignment with his words, he builds credibility. Women are drawn to that kind of man because he feels safe to depend on. It is important to emphasize again that stability does not mean extravagance. You do not need to be a millionaire or own luxury possessions to be attractive in this way. A modest but well-managed life is often more appealing than a chaotic life of wealth. A woman would rather be with a man who earns an honest living, pays his bills on time, keeps his home in order, and has a plan for the future, than with a man who flashes wealth today, but may lose everything tomorrow due to recklessness. Stability is about reliability, not riches. The emotional effect of stability on a woman is profound. When she senses that a man has his life in order, she can relax. She no longer feels she must carry the weight of everything herself. She feels supported, not necessarily financially, but in terms of shared responsibility. She knows that if challenges come, he won't collapse or make things worse. He will handle them with strength and planning. That relaxation allows her to be more feminine, more open, more trusting. It frees her to focus on love and connection rather than constant survival. An older man who has achieved financial and lifestyle stability stands out because many younger men are still figuring these things out. Younger men may chase thrills, spend recklessly, or lack direction. But a man who has already walked through those phases and has built stability communicates maturity. He shows that he has lived, learned, and now stands on solid ground. That solid ground becomes the foundation for a woman's attraction because it means she can build with him instead of worrying about holding everything together alone. Stability also inspires respect. Women respect men who take responsibility for their lives. They may be charmed by charisma or attracted to looks, but deep respect comes from seeing a man who has built something, who stands on his own, and who does not live in chaos. Respect is one of the most powerful forms of attraction because it goes beyond the superficial and enters the realm of admiration. When a woman admires you for your stability, her connection to you deepens beyond temporary desire. In conclusion, financial and lifestyle stability is not about showing off wealth or pretending to live a perfect life. It is about demonstrating responsibility, consistency, and foresight. It is about showing that you can create safety and order in a world that is often unpredictable. Women go crazy for older men who embody this not because of the money itself, but because of what it represents: strength, maturity, direction, and security. When you have your finances in order and your lifestyle balanced, you radiate a kind of confidence and calmness that women find irresistible. It is not the flash of riches, but the quiet power of stability that captures their hearts and earns their trust. Playfulness and energy are often underestimated when it comes to attraction, especially for older men. Many people assume that as a man ages, he must become serious, rigid, and distant from anything lighthearted. They think maturity means you must bury your sense of humor, abandon fun, and focus only on responsibility, but the truth is the exact opposite. What makes an older man magnetic is not just his confidence or his stability, but his ability to balance all of that with a playful, youthful spirit that makes life exciting. Women go crazy for older men who know how to laugh, how to be spontaneous, and how to bring joy into ordinary moments. It's not about acting childish, it's about carrying a youthful energy that complements your maturity. Playfulness is not silliness, it is the art of keeping life light even when things get heavy. Women are naturally drawn to joy, and they are instinctively pulled toward men who can create it. A man who is too serious all the time, who never laughs or allows himself to loosen up, creates a heavy atmosphere. Being around him feels like work. But when a man can balance his wisdom with humor, he creates a space where a woman feels alive. She feels like she can let go, laugh, and enjoy herself. This ability is magnetic because joy is one of the most powerful bonding forces in human connection. Playfulness also signals confidence. When you are playful, you show that you are comfortable enough with yourself to not always take life too seriously. You're not afraid to look a little silly, to tease gently, or to joke in the right moment. A man who lacks confidence avoids playfulness because he fears embarrassment. But a man who knows who he is can laugh at himself, can tell a story where he was wrong, and can make others laugh without worrying about how he looks. That kind of self-assured playfulness tells a woman that you are secure in yourself, and that security makes her relax in your presence. Energy is the other side of this quality. As men grow older, some allow themselves to become dull, tired, and disengaged from life. They lose curiosity, they lose enthusiasm, and they stop pursuing joy. This drains their relationships because no one wants to spend time with someone who has given up on excitement. But when an older man maintains energy, physical, mental, and emotional, it sets him apart. He may not be in his 20s anymore, but his zest for life makes him more attractive than men half his age. Energy shows in the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you engage with the world. Do you approach life with enthusiasm, or do you drag yourself through it? Women are incredibly sensitive to this difference. Spontaneity is part of playfulness and energy that women find irresistible. When every day feels predictable, routine can slowly kill passion. A man who can introduce surprise, whether it's an unexpected compliment, a last-minute adventure, or a playful twist to an ordinary day, keeps the connection alive. He shows that even though he is stable and mature, he still knows how to keep things fresh. This balance of dependability and spontaneity is rare, and that rarity makes it powerful. Women crave the stability of a man they can trust, but they also crave the excitement of never knowing exactly what fun he might bring next. Playfulness also builds intimacy, joking together, teasing each other, sharing laughter. These things create bonds stronger than serious conversations alone. When two people laugh together, they create memories that last. A woman who laughs with a man feels closer to him because laughter lowers defenses. It allows her to be herself, free from judgment. An older man who can cultivate that environment becomes unforgettable because he gives her not only safety but also joy. And joy is addictive. It is important to clarify that playfulness is not immaturity. Immaturity is avoiding responsibility, refusing to grow, and acting recklessly. Playfulness, in contrast, is choosing lightness while still being grounded. It is being able to smile while taking care of business, being able to make others laugh without losing respect, and being able to keep life exciting without being irresponsible. This distinction matters because the man who confuses playfulness with immaturity ends up pushing women away. But the man who shows that he can handle life's seriousness while also keeping it joyful draws women in because he gives them the best of both worlds. Energy is also deeply connected to health. A man who neglects his body, who doesn't care about exercise, who lets himself slip into laziness, will naturally have lower energy. This shows in his interactions, his posture, his mood. But a man who takes care of himself, who eats well, who stays active, radiates vitality. That vitality is attractive not only because it makes him look better, but because it makes a woman feel that he will be able to share life's adventures with her. Women want to imagine traveling, dancing, exploring, and living fully with their partner. A man who lacks energy makes her feel limited, while a man with energy makes her feel that life with him will be full. The way playfulness and energy affect communication cannot be overstated. Conversations with a playful, energetic man are never dull. He knows how to tell stories with life in them. He knows how to joke without offending, and he knows how to keep the mood engaging. He doesn't just speak, he captivates. Women remember how a man makes them feel more than what he says, and when you make her feel light and joyful, she associates you with positivity. That emotional imprint lingers long after the moment ends. Even in difficult times, playfulness and energy are powerful. Imagine a stressful situation, bills, work pressure, family problems. An immature or overly serious man might let the stress consume the relationship, making every interaction heavy. But a man with playfulness knows how to lighten the mood without dismissing the problem. He might crack the right joke, find humor in the situation, or shift perspective to remind his partner that they can get through it together. This ability to lift spirits in hard times is invaluable. Women deeply appreciate men who can balance reality with lightness because it makes them feel stronger as a team. Another powerful element is curiosity. Energy does not only mean physical vitality, it also means mental engagement. An energetic man stays curious about life. He reads, he explores, he learns, he asks questions. He doesn't act like he knows everything. He keeps seeking. That curiosity makes him interesting, and women find interesting men captivating. They don't want someone stuck in routine, uninterested in growth. They want someone who keeps life stimulating by continuing to evolve. Older men who embrace playfulness and energy often surprise women. They break the stereotype of what it means to age. Instead of being grumpy or closed off, they show that life can still be fun, exciting, and full of passion. That surprise creates even more attraction because it challenges her expectations. She sees him not as an older man, but as a vibrant man who happens to be older. That difference matters because attraction is about energy more than age. In the end, playfulness and energy keep relationships alive. They prevent boredom, strengthen intimacy, and make life together feel like an adventure. Women go crazy for older men who master this because it shows them that maturity does not mean monotony. It shows them that they can have both security and excitement, both stability and fun, both wisdom and joy. That combination is rare, and it is exactly what makes it so powerful. So while confidence may attract, emotional maturity may build trust, and financial stability may provide security, it is playfulness and energy that make a woman fall in love with life when she is with you. It is what makes her look forward to every moment together, what makes her laugh when she remembers you, and what makes her feel that no matter how serious life becomes, with you it will never lose its spark. Respect and genuine interest are the cornerstones of true attraction. And when older men embody these qualities, women cannot help but respond in a powerful way. It's one thing to be confident, stable, and playful, but what makes a connection truly last is the feeling that a man truly sees and values a woman, not just as a figure in his life, but as a whole human being with thoughts, emotions, and dreams of her own. Respect is not about opening doors or pulling out chairs, though those gestures can be appreciated. It is about treating a woman as someone whose voice, perspective, and individuality matter. Genuine interest is not about interrogation or flattery, but about sincerely wanting to understand her world, her passions, her fears, and her story. Together, these qualities create the deepest form of attraction because they make her feel valued beyond surface level. Respect begins with the way a man listens. Many men hear, but few truly listen. A man who interrupts constantly, who dismisses her ideas, or who only waits for his turn to speak, communicates that he does not value her voice. But when an older man listens with patience, nods with understanding, and responds thoughtfully, he shows her that she matters. This kind of respect is magnetic because it is rare. Women are used to being talked over, judged, or objectified. When they meet a man who actually values their words, they feel a sense of relief, almost like they can finally exhale. That emotional safety is profoundly attractive. Respect also shows in how a man treats her boundaries. An older man who understands that no means no, that space is sometimes necessary, and that her comfort matters instantly earns trust. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors that open when a person feels safe. A woman who sees that her limits are respected will naturally want to open more of herself to the man. But when a man ignores her boundaries, pressures her, or dismisses her feelings, he destroys trust. Respecting boundaries shows discipline, patience, and maturity, qualities that older men have often had time to develop. That maturity makes them stand out because it communicates that they value connection over control. Genuine interest is the other half of this dynamic. Many men claim to be interested in a woman, but their actions reveal otherwise. They ask surface-level questions, they forget details, or they steer conversations back to themselves. Genuine interest, however, looks different. It means remembering the little things she says, the book she mentioned, the dream she shared, the challenge she's facing, and following up on them later. It means asking questions not for the sake of talking, but because you truly want to understand. When a man invests that kind of attention, a woman feels seen, and to feel seen is one of the deepest human desires. Older men who show genuine interest often do it better than younger men because they have learned patience. They know that attraction is not about rushing, but about unfolding. They take their time, they lean in, they allow silence when needed, and they let her share at her own pace. This patience communicates that he values who she is, not just what she can offer him in the moment. It makes her feel that her mind and soul are as captivating to him as her appearance. That balance of desire and respect is intoxicating. Respect is also about equality. An older man who treats a woman as his equal, rather than someone he must dominate or control, creates harmony. Equality does not mean sameness, but it means valuing her contributions, her strengths, and her independence. Women are drawn to men who are strong enough to admire strength in others. When a man feels threatened by a woman's intelligence, ambition, or independence, he reveals insecurity. But when he celebrates those qualities, he reveals confidence, and confidence paired with respect is irresistible. Another aspect of respect and genuine interest is communication style. A respectful man does not belittle, insult, or use sarcasm to put a woman down. He lifts her up with his words, even when giving feedback. He communicates directly, but with kindness. His interest shows in how he engages, making eye contact, leaning in, and giving her his undivided attention instead of checking his phone or scanning the room. These small details are powerful signals that tell a woman, "I value you, you matter to me." Respect also shines in how a man speaks about others, especially other women. A man who constantly objectifies, criticizes, or disrespects other women shows a pattern that cannot be ignored. Women notice this. If he disrespects others, it's only a matter of time before he disrespects her. But a man who speaks with dignity about others, who honors even those not present, shows that his respect is a core value, not a performance. That kind of integrity builds deep attraction because it shows consistency. Genuine interest requires curiosity. A man who is curious about her world, her work, her passions, her friends, her hobbies, creates space for connection. It's not about pretending to love everything she loves, but about showing willingness to learn and engage. Maybe she loves painting, and he doesn't know much about it. A man with genuine interest will ask questions, admire her passion, and maybe even try it with her. That openness deepens bonds because it shows that he is not just interested in her body, but in her spirit. Respect also means celebrating her individuality. Too often, women are pressured to fit into molds, to meet expectations, or to change to please others. An older man who respects her will encourage her to be fully herself. He won't try to control her clothing, her choices, or her lifestyle. Instead, he will admire her uniqueness and support her growth. This freedom is magnetic because it gives her room to breathe, to expand, and to love without fear of losing herself. The emotional effect of respect and genuine interest cannot be overstated. When a woman feels respected, she feels safe. When she feels genuine interest, she feels cherished. Safety and cherishing together create the deepest form of attraction because they allow her to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is the soil where love grows. Without respect, she will guard herself. Without interest, she will feel unseen. But with both, she will open her heart fully. Respect also builds long-term attraction. Looks may fade, excitement may shift, but the way a man makes a woman feel respected and valued will remain unforgettable. Women may be initially drawn to charm or status, but they stay for respect and genuine interest. These qualities make a relationship sustainable because they form the foundation of trust. Trust, once built, is stronger than any temporary spark. Older men often excel at this because they have lived through enough to know the importance of treating people with dignity. They have learned that relationships are not games, that manipulation destroys connection, and that true attraction is built on sincerity. When they bring that wisdom into relationships, women feel the difference. They feel that he is not playing with them but building with them. And there you have it. 4 powerful things that women go absolutely crazy for when older men embody them. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about mastering confidence, emotional maturity, playfulness, energy, respect, and genuine interest in ways that make you magnetic without even trying. When you carry these qualities, you don't chase, you attract. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these points resonated with you the most? Or is there one quality you feel you've mastered already? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your perspective might inspire someone else too. And before you go, don't forget, hit that like button if you found value in this, subscribe to the channel so you never miss more powerful insights like these, and make sure you share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.